morning, everyone, and welcome to our final Back to Business presentation of 2020. These sessions are designed to provide topical and timely information and resources to help businesses cope with current conditions and to grow their businesses. We will be taking a break for the holidays and returning in January, and we thank Facebook for their sponsorship of the Back to Business series. We are excited today to focus on digital marketing with a special presentation by Chamber member Vivial. Vivial is an innovative marketing technology company offering a full range of customer engagement tools that help businesses connect with customers, build loyalty, manage content, and track results. Today, they'll be discussing digital marketing trends for small and medium-sized businesses in the upcoming year and tips on what businesses can do for free to optimize their online presence. All participants will receive a downloadable free ebook and a complimentary audit by Vivial. So with that, let me introduce Laura Gibbs, Vivial Regional Channel Manager, who also has a background in advertising and business growth, and Simo Taufik, a local digital marketing partner with Vivial. He's also a local private school teacher and coach who owns a small consulting business. With that, Laura.
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate the introduction. And thank you, Courtney and Peter, for organizing this. We are new to the Chamber and very much looking forward to giving you some tips on how you can optimize your business online. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. I do have some things put together for any of you who are watching today or in attendance today. There's a lot of information, so I will share anything that I provide you with today. And as Peter said, we will be doing audits and sending out the ebook, but take out your notebook because I have a lot of tips for you that you can implement online during this period of time where we're online. It feels like all day. So to give, Peter, you did a great introduction. I just wanted to say that while we're new to the Chamber, Simo and I are not new to the area. I have been in the Bay Area for about 4 years now. And Simo, how long have you been in Mountain View?
12 years and counting. I've seen all the changes in this area.
Yeah, so we're definitely very familiar with the area and are excited to provide you with some tips on how to optimize your business and grow your customer base. So without further ado, let me seamlessly share my screen. Here we go. All right. And I'm going to share my audio here too, I believe. All right. So again, we'll talk about some digital trends, some marketing trends that we're seeing moving into 2021. And some of these you're already starting to see right now. And they're just going to continue to grow as we move into 2021. So we'll talk about the current market, what that looks like, and then that'll be when you get out your notebooks, because I'll give very specific advice on how to optimize yourselves and your businesses for free online. So first, I'll do just a real quick introduction. Peter actually covered that pretty well, so that'll be very, very brief. And then we'll look at the market, what it currently looks like, talk about those trends and how to optimize, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A at the end. I welcome any and all questions, and I've been in the digital marketing space for about 8 years now, so I'm sure I've heard the question before, and I will do my best to make sure that I answer it for you. So as Peter had said, we are new to the Chamber. We are a digital marketing company. One of the things that I love about our about how we do business is that we do everything under one roof. I was talking to a customer just yesterday, and she sent me a spreadsheet of 9 different people she uses to optimize her online presence, and it seemed very stressful. So we do everything in-house, plus you have somebody who understands the local climate and the local landscape, so that's always really helpful. So if you want more information on that, check us out at vivial.net. Otherwise, let's talk about what you came here for, which is the marketing trends and some tips. So to give some information on me, I have all 3 of my parents. I have a stepmom, but it's always fun to say all 3 of my parents are small business owners. And I grew up watching them go through the trials and tribulations that come along with owning a business. This past year has been a roller coaster for them, as it has been for all of us. You're having to reimagine your business and how to leverage new technologies. Even this, like we're sitting here on a Zoom call. How many of you before this year were even on a Zoom call or did business that way. Not everyone, right? So we're having to reimagine how we interact with each other, how we get information out about our businesses. Some of you are having to manage remote employees. Almost 80% of businesses are saying they have to manage remote employees. That can be tricky all on its own. And then many of us are turning to online ways to help engage with our current customers to make sure we're keeping them happy, and then reach new customers, right? Which is tricky during a pandemic. So taking a look at what the current market looks like. Maybe all of you are sitting there with your smartphone or phone, probably a smartphone next to you. So this is not going to be news to you, but most people go on to Google to find a local business. So 86% go on to Google to find a local business. That could look like even right now, maybe I want to order lunch and we're quarantined, right? So it's takeout and delivery only. If I want to find out who is delivering near me, I can just say, hey Siri, or hey Alexa, I have an Alexa in the kitchen, who delivers near me, or I want pizza right now, or whatever that is. We're going online in some way, even just to find a meal or buy holiday gifts, or maybe you have something on your house that needs repaired. All those different things can easily be found online, and making sure that you as a local business owner, making sure that your business is optimized online is imperative for you to be successful these days. The majority of the whole purchasing decision, right from me saying, I'm hungry, I want some lunch, up to I'm going to order this directly and have it delivered to my house. That whole process can be done digitally. So we'll talk about some ways to make sure that you show up as much as possible in these searches that make sense for your business throughout this webinar today. And I'll actually push this back to Simo, because Simo's an online shopper. I know this about you. What is something that you have purchased lately, and give us the authentic experience when you first were like, oh, I want to buy something, to you actually buying that particular thing. And you're on mute, just to so unmute yourself first, but I do appreciate you muting.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question, Laura. Like lately it's been getting a lot colder, like without even noticing. At 5-6 p.m. it gets so cold. So I wanted to buy a jacket or a warmer coat. I looked online, having lived in Mountain View for almost 12 years. I'm familiar with local shops, but when I looked on Google, only big name brands came up. So I was a little bit disappointed that, you know, our local shops are not coming up on the first or second page. And I'm familiar, I would go and buy from them, but imagine somebody else is not familiar with the area. So they will end up going to the big name stores and end up buying a brand name jacket and coat for no reason, where we could be helping our local shops.
Yeah, and just like we were talking about with Peter before we went live on this, we were talking about the importance of shopping local. All of you chamber members, we're local. We want to make sure that our community is investing in our businesses, so that we can keep going, we can keep live, right? So shopping local is really important. So what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself these questions. This is exactly what I asked anybody that I help with local marketing. Do you think people are shopping online for your products and services? I'm just going to answer that for you. Yes, they likely are. They want to know where you're located, so they know if you're close by, if they have to drive to you, if they can order directly from you, if they can do a conversation like this. Can we do an online consultation? Has it been difficult for you to develop an online presence? Some people find it very overwhelming, especially if that's not your specialty, right? If your specialty is that you are a roofer and you know everything about roofing, that you don't want to have to then relearn how to market your business online, right? So there are a lot of things that you can do to optimize yourself, but ask yourself if it's been difficult to develop that online presence and social presence. Would it be beneficial for you to show up in those searches? Are you looking for new ways to engage with customers? Especially now, we're all working from home because we're in a global pandemic, right? So we need to adapt. Can customers find you easily for your products, to schedule service, and to do business with you? How have you adapted during the current quarantine or during the current pandemic? And that might even look like, I was looking at a stat the other day, the people looking for curbside pickup. So if you're on here and you are a restaurant, or you offer takeout or something like that, or you offer a retail product that I can just drive up and pick up from your store, how are you communicating that to your customers? Because that has increased 3,000%, that search, curbside pickup. So those kind of things are what you want to put out there about your business. And then how are you letting customers know that you're open and ready to serve them? I was a little disappointed last night. I was really craving, there's this vegan Chinese place that I like to get food from. And it said that they were open online, but apparently they have new hours during the quarantine. They closed 2 hours earlier. And I was calling and calling. I'm like, oh, I'll just drive over there because I was like really craving some orange chicken. I get there and they're closed. And it says that their new hours during quarantine they close at 7:30. So for me, I was like, oh, I ended up going somewhere else. Not that I won't go back to them. I definitely will. But for someone else that might be like, oh, okay, I found this new place now that I'm going to get dinner at. So even communicating your hours and that sort of thing, very important for the online space. So let's take a look at some digital trends. I had to cut this down because I can get a little verbose, and there's a lot of information in this already. So I cut this down to the top 5. The ebook that I will be sharing with you for anybody who attends today or who watches, I'll give the ebook to Courtney and Peter to post online as well. Has a lot more information, about 17 pages worth of information. So I kind of went through and just kind of gleaned some of the most important points. But first and foremost, a customer journey. So your customers, their journey is going to continue to not be linear. So meaning I'm not just going to go to your website, or I'm not just going to go on Google, click the first thing that pops up. I'm probably going to look at a couple of different places. Me personally, I always, I don't commit to buying something right away. I shop around a lot. I'm one of those people that goes and puts things in my cart and then waits. So then for me, Instagram always picks up where I left off and says, oh, it throws an ad in front of me. That's almost always when I make my purchase. I am somewhat ashamed to admit that I've made in the past 2 weeks, I'd say about 5 purchases because of an Instagram follow-up ad that had to do with something I was just looking up. So that nonlinear path, very common. Putting in a search on Google, or even me just picking up my phone and saying, hey Siri, where can I get this? Or asking Alexa, or just going to a Google search and looking at various websites. There are different ways that you can then recapture the attention of that person locally so that they want to go to your restaurant or go to your store or make an appointment at your eye doctor at your practice. So the nonlinear path is definitely going to continue. The need to differentiate, secondly, the differentiation from your competition is greater than before because so many people are online. Just on social media alone, the most recent stat that I saw was that there's an increase by about 60% in people using social media to find local businesses, or just engaging with social media in general, with a large portion of that being to find local business, because they want to see if you're involved in the community, they want to read about your business, they want to look at their options. So making sure that you're differentiating yourself and standing out from other people who do what you do is going to be very important moving forward. One of those things has to do with social media. So I think social media is a great place to tell your story. I am going to go through the top 3 platforms that I think are important for you as a local business to optimize, and very specific details on here's what you should post, here's how often you should post it. So that'll be in the next couple slides, but differentiating yourself, very important. And then optimizing for voice search has become even more important because we've gotten to the point where we do just ask Alexa or Google Home or Siri or any of those places to do a search for us. So I'll teach you how you can do some optimizing to make sure you show up in those as well. The third one is just adapting to the individual consumer. That's becoming more important and more mandatory. Something that I saw that I found very interesting, how many of you get text messages from local businesses? And maybe that's your eye doctor, maybe that's a dentist, maybe it's saying, okay, you have to come in for your appointment tomorrow. If you get text messages, sometimes it can be overwhelming I get a ton of text messages between clients and people that I do business with, or like literally I have a dentist appointment later today, so that was a real example. And then just text from friends. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming, but there was a large survey done, and it found that 9 out of 10 people prefer to be followed up with via text versus a call or versus an email. So most customers want a text message because it's short and sweet. They're checked on average in less than 3 seconds. You at least look at it. We're just programmed that way. So that follow-up going right to the individual saying, oh, don't forget to pick your car up, it's ready. Or remember that you have an appointment tomorrow. Or, hey, we're offering 25% off for the holidays. Those sorts of follow-ups to current customers is that individual consumer interaction that people are looking for. The next part here, number 4, we've turned into a see it, want it, buy it generation, for better or for worse, right? So we think of something that we want. Simo was talking about the coat that he was purchasing. Did you end up purchasing that coat? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I ended up going to a brand name store and
Damn.
person needed a coat. Yeah.
Okay. So we've turned into that see it, want it, buy it generation, which is what happened to you, right? Because you're like, I need a coat right now. So I'm just going to buy from this person. I'll talk to you about different tactics, and I'll let you know the free ways you can do it. And then I'll also let you know if you want to throw money behind it, I'll show you exactly where you can do that on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. But we've become this generation where we see an ad for what we want, we click on it, we most likely make a purchase. I saw a statistic that was really compelling lately. You know, those short little video ads that you see that just, they show a little movement, might even be like a GIF. The interaction with those is 1 out of 3 people who click on those are going to make a purchase. So 33% of people, if you have a little ad out there that moves for your business or even shows like a short video, that can be really beneficial to you because it's highly likely that the person clicking on it, a third of those people are going to buy something from you. So those are really easy to create. There's a lot of different free builders online that you can use. So if you have a product that you can showcase like that, I highly recommend that you get involved in that. And then lastly, the business being nimble and agile. We know that here we are sitting in a pandemic, we're still going, right? So you've all had to adapt on some level. Being able to adapt, and maybe that means pivoting your whole strategy. Maybe that means that you change the way that you do business. Those things are all really essential. 2 things that I will call out that have been particularly important is the community focus content. So community focused content. I was talking to someone on Mondays, that was 2 days ago, on Monday, about he's very involved in working with the local homeless shelter, and he donates time and also some of his services to the homeless shelter, and has actually employed someone that was kind of on the brink of becoming homeless. So that was really touching, but that's also something that he includes as part of his mission statement, being involved in the community, how important it is to assist your community and give back. People really love seeing that content now, and it actually increases the chances of them wanting to make purchases from you because it makes them feel good to do business with you. So if you're involved in the community, if you volunteer, or if you are a local teacher, or if you are doing anything to give back to the community, people like to hear about that positive messaging. Along with that kind of community focus, people are liking to see nostalgic content. So if you are a business that's been around in Mountain View for quite a while, let people know that. Say, hey, if we've been here for decades, come check us out. Or post a picture of like, here's what our crew started out as, and here's where we're at now. That sort of thing. So referencing back to how you started and where you're at now, people like to see that. They like to see the growth of a business, and that content is just getting engaged with more and more these days because it's very positive and makes people feel good about who they're working with. So just some content tips. Now I'm going to give you some very direct tips on how you can optimize your social and Google My Business. So take out your notebooks at this point if you want to make some notes, because here it comes. First tip is optimizing yourself on Google My Business. So if you have not already claimed your Google My Business profile, I want you to put a task down for yourself and check it off in the next few days if you can, especially with the holidays coming up. People are online now more than ever. They're making purchases. Even during the pandemic, we've definitely seen a shift in how people are shopping, but people are still shopping, or they're at least looking for resources. They're doing a lot of research right now. People are online a lot right now. So make sure that you have claimed your business profile. Very easy. You can kind of take down these steps here, or you can Google this and just say, how do I claim my Google My Business? And it'll walk you through how to do that. This list, I actually had to shorten this morning because it has all these different tips on types of photos that you should upload to optimize, what type of categories you should put yourself in, that sort of thing. The main ones that I find very important are, of course, claim your business profile. So that means just take ownership of it so that it can't be Google is an algorithm, not a brain, even though it seems like a brain some days. But just claiming it allows you to lock that profile so that that information can't become either missing or corrupted. So do that for your business, claim your business profile, complete every section of your Google My Business account. So that might be that you enter in offering Zoom consultations. That might just be how you literally do business. We accept credit cards, we accept cash and check, or your business hours. Please make sure your business hours are updated so people don't, swing by your location and you're closed. That sort of thing. Contact information. That is the third most essential thing to optimize on your Google My Business profile. So make sure your contact information is correct and updated, especially we're working from home now, a lot of us, right? So make sure that there's a very easy way to get in touch with you listed right on your Google My Business profile. These other things on here are kind of, I don't want to call them extras because I really want you to do them. But once you get in there, you can select categories. So if you are a local, maybe you're an eye doctor and maybe you also sell lenses. I actually got these right at the in Palo Alto. So if you are doing that and you have appointments available, if you have eyeglasses available at your location as well, those are two categories that you should be under. Eyeglasses, eye doctor, those categories digitally also serve as a keyword. So if I type in eye doctor near me and you're an eye doctor, you can show up if you have these categories optimized for your business. So make sure that you're putting those essential categories in so you can start being found in those voice searches, as well as just standard local searches people are putting into Google. The business description also helps with that as well. So again, try and think of a good way to come up with categories or keywords for the search engine. Write down your products, write down your services, try to keep it a word or two. And those are going to be your categories that you want to input in your Google My Business profile. Okay. The last point, pictures, of course, are always helpful. People like to see before and after. The last point, though, I'll tell you with the Google My Business, set up messaging, especially right now. People are messaging and asking questions through Google My Business. If that if that's a little overwhelming to you, I understand not wanting to turn that on. I highly recommend, if you're able to, do that, especially when it comes to reviews. We know that a review can make or break a business, and you want to be able to field those as they come in so you can respond to them. For the most part, a lot of reviews that are written are pretty positive, but we know that there are negative reviews out there. We know that that online provides a platform for people to express any negative experience that they've had. So just make sure those messages are coming directly to you so you can deal with it and say, hey, please give us a chance to make this right. Like, come back in or reach out to me directly. That's a great way to help mitigate some of that stuff. So that's Google My Business. Next, I'm going to talk about some social media best practices, and I'm just going to kind of populate all of these here. But there's a lot of different tools out there for social, and social for me is kind of like the open ocean. There's no real wrong way to do social, because it's all about posting a lot of content. You want to have consistent content, But then, of course, it has to be quality content. You can't just post a picture and say, another happy customer, because again, we're working with an algorithm, not a brain. So another happy customer doing what, right? So you would want to say like, another happy customer who purchased a car from, and then put your car dealership name, or another happy customer. And people love pictures of dogs. It's something like over 60% of people like to see pictures of animals in posts. So they always work. Like if we want a little boost on one of our like pet grooming clients or vet clients content, throw in a picture of a puppy. People love it. So if you're in the pet industry, post pictures of puppies. People love them. But then also make sure that you're supporting it with content that makes sense, and say, come in for pet grooming around the holidays or whatever that is, but use certain terms and keywords to show the service that is being performed in that picture. But get creative. Social is where you can tell your story. Each platform has different tools to monitor if you're getting engagement with that platform. So you can see if people have clicked on, liked, shared, any of those things, your posts. That's how you can see if it's performing well. So just if you're not already involved in social, I highly encourage you, even to start with one platform. If you're going to start with one platform, start with Facebook. They have the most users. Start there. And just set a little goal for yourself. Put it, like I put it in my Outlook calendar, like post this day and this day. So those are some things you can do. And we'll talk about some of the different types of content that you can post now. So relevant content, of course. So if the picture, like I said, is showing a pet that's being groomed, use pet grooming in your content so that you can possibly come up in searches for that. And then plug your business name in that content as well. So do that. If you have any specials, especially now during the pandemic, and then as we get towards the holidays, if you're offering a special of some type, put that right in the content of the post. So those are all really good ways to get engagement, not just check the box for posting that day. You want to also make sure that that post is doing something for you. And then contests, people love contests. For any of you who have been involved in posting on social media for your business, or if you are a social media user yourself, you've maybe come across those that say, like this picture, tag your friend, share this picture on your wall, and you'll get entered to win a gift basket or something like that. People love contests. So if you want a lot of engagement, or if you want to get some new customers, that's a great way to do that. If you're hosting any events, like I know the Chamber has the holiday event. If you're hosting any events like that, that's always great to post, and then post exactly how people can participate in that event. Short videos, as I mentioned earlier, the short videos with like a little ad or something at the end are very helpful when promoting a particular product or service. And I have an example down here. Let's see if it'll play for you. So that is just a client that we work with that is a vet. And that's the type of little video that I'm talking about. So you can just create a very short little video. The engagement on those are way higher than your average post. That's something that you can get involved in. Of course, there's paid ad campaigns on social as well. And we'll talk about in the next few slides just some of the more detailed things about Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But just some ideas for you for types of content that you can post on your social media. So we'll start with Facebook, and specifically to optimize your Facebook as a local business. It's all about building your brand, humanizing your brand, and connecting with local customers. As Simo had mentioned earlier, he knows the area. He wishes that like a local local business would have come up for buying that coat. This is a way for you to start showing up in those local searches. So post pictures of what you sell, or post even images of your office if you're open, or your staff. Images with people's faces in them get viewed about 6 times more than images that don't have faces in them. So people like to see something that they recognize, like another human being, especially now that we're all stuck at home, not seeing a lot of human beings, or seeing the same ones every day. So posting pictures like that are very engaging. If you want to be an A+ student, 1 to 2 posts per day during working hours is going to be the absolute best. I will tell you this, 3 to 4 posts a week will get you there too. So don't make yourself crazy posting every single day. This is again for kind of the overachiever on Facebook, but 3 to 4 posts a week will be enough, what I call movement on Facebook, to help your business show up in some of those relevant searches. And then your focus should always be about engaging customers and branding yourself, but then also not just reaching the people who are already following you, but you want to reach new customers. So I saw a stat the other day about during the pandemic, 55% of businesses are concerned with just keeping their loyal customers. So you do want to make sure that you're engaging with your current customer base, but to reach outside of your current customer base, you'll have to do some things like boosting posts. We can talk more in detail about that if you want to reach out to me, and I'll also give a little detail on the next slide about that. But if you want to, or you can Google it, how do I boost a post on Facebook? Boosting posts are going to help you reach those new customers. Sharing those authentic images and videos, very helpful. And then a call to action. So for anyone who has, maybe if you majored in marketing or you've done marketing yourself, a call to action is something that gets me to do something. So if it's like, call us now for a free estimate, that is a call to action. It's demanding that I do something. Include that. That stuff actually is really powerful. And then you can also use Facebook for lead generation. So depending on the type of content or post that you put out there, it can have a button on it that goes directly to a page where I can add something to my cart, or make a purchase, or set up a consultation. The creative kind of looks like this. So if you're a Facebook user, this stuff probably all looks pretty familiar to you. Videos, posts, engaging pieces of content. If you want to get into Facebook ads, so to really reach outside of your current customer base, I highly recommend implementing Facebook Pixel. That is the creepy side of Facebook. No, that's the very helpful side of Facebook that allows you to collect user data. So even if I wasn't on Facebook and I was searching for, my brother has a chicken coop, and I'm like, I want to buy him some weird chicken gift for Christmas. I was doing research on like what to buy someone who has chickens, and all of these different things started coming up, like little signs for like welcome to the family farm, that kind of stuff. Then when I go on Facebook, I've been getting ads from Etsy that are showing me pictures of chicken coop signs. That's what Facebook Pixel allows you to do. So even when somebody is not on Facebook and they're doing searches on Google, once they go to their Facebook, you can target them. You can do that as a local business. So as I mentioned earlier, I made some purchases on Instagram recently. They were all local businesses that have started to implement these ad campaigns, and they're the cost per click, not to get too into the weeds of this, is a little lower than doing Google ads. So social might be where you want to start. I think it's really helpful. But all the different targeting tools are available on Facebook. You can look this stuff up via Google, or of course you can reach out to me if you need some help. For Instagram optimization, Instagram and Facebook are tied together, as we know. So in terms of the data that you can collect, usually I recommend running a Facebook and Instagram kind of campaign side by side. I think that's really helpful. But we know that Instagram, for those of you who use it, is a very visual platform, but it does allow you to educate customers and increase traffic. And it's very engaging. People love to see pictures, especially of the product that they're going to buy. Or I especially recommend if you are somebody who comes into my home to do business, like maybe you do carpeting, maybe you do countertops, maybe you're a heating and air conditioning person, maybe you're a plumber. If you fall into any of these categories, you want to build trust with me. So throw an image up there of the team. Maybe you do pest control. Throw a picture up there of the exterminator who's going to be coming into my house, so I know when I answer the door, hey, that's the guy that I saw on their website. Those things are all really helpful for building trust. You can do that very easily with Instagram and with digital in general. For Instagram, the posting time should be Tuesday through Friday. Apparently Mondays are kind of low traffic times for Instagram, but Tuesday through Friday, first thing in the morning. So when I'm going through my feed later in the morning, or when I'm drinking my coffee, I can see your post, or during working hours. It's all about make sure your logo is on there, so you're branding yourself. You can share your story literally and figuratively. So for those of you who use Instagram, you know that you can watch somebody's story, but also you can share your brand tips about maybe like 3 tips for how to maintain your car if you are in the auto industry, those sort of things that I can see and engage with. And then you can always have a clickable link in your profile on Instagram, so I can go directly to you. You can encourage people to book a consultation or an appointment with you. But again, keep it really visual. 80% of accounts on Instagram, so we took a look at the people who have Instagram accounts, 80% of accounts follow a business on Instagram. So it used to be just perceived as this platform that millennials use and they troll through their pictures or post pictures of themselves or whatever's going on there. But it's not just that. The vast majority of people are following businesses on there, and 60% of people have said that they've made a purchase from a local business on Instagram. That's huge. So I know I fall into that category. So take advantage of that as a local business. It's a great free way to engage with people. If you do want to throw some ad spend behind it, very similar to with Facebook, you can boost those posts, okay? And some of that content looks like this. I was telling Simo this earlier, like every time I look at that picture, I want ice cream. It's like 11:30 and I'm like, yeah, I can have ice cream for lunch. Instagram's really a powerful tool for putting images out there. I know there are some great ice cream spots in Palo Alto area, and in Mountain View, there's one that I particularly like there. So if you are that ice cream spot, post a picture of your ice cream. You will have people like me in there at all hours of the day. LinkedIn is the last platform that I'm going to talk about. So for LinkedIn, this is a little bit different. If you are a B2B business, I want you to take note right now. This is going to be your place to shine, though I also think B2B Facebook is a good place just because of the amount of traffic on Facebook. But LinkedIn's a little bit different. We know it's about networking and engaging with other professionals. So you want to be educational. You want to be a resource. You want to be inspirational if you can. If you're somebody who is good at writing very positive content, this is a great place for you. Tuesday through Thursday during work hours are the best times to engage on LinkedIn. That seems to be when the most usership and engagement is happening. For any of you, if you're a photographer or on a local photography business, you've heard of golden hour, I'm sure. There's a golden hour on LinkedIn. It is between 10 and 11 a.m. in the morning. So that's golden hour on LinkedIn. So if you can get your posts in at that time, then most people will see them at that time. So that is LinkedIn's golden hour. Your content focus should be branded. We're talking about company updates, employee highlights, especially now we're all working remotely, or working from home, or most of us, not everybody, if you're essential. Highlight some of your employees. People like to see that. Any relevant statistics in your industry, ways that you are engaging with the community, news like local events, and then thought leadership. So if you want to stand out as a leader in your industry, maybe you've been in the community for 30 years, let people know what you've learned in those 30 years. That's going to make people want to follow you and do business with you. You can do that easily on LinkedIn. Here's just what some of that LinkedIn creative looks like. And definitely just more polished, less words on the actual post itself is better. And you want to just, you can hashtag on LinkedIn, just like on Instagram, throw some hashtags in there that have to do with what you do. And, you want somebody to click through and actually engage with and read your content. So that's kind of the LinkedIn route. There is a piece of code that you can implement on LinkedIn to make it more effective for you targeting somebody who's going to buy from you. One of the things that I love with LinkedIn, so it's called LinkedIn Insights. And again, you can look all this stuff up. Very easy. It's just a little bit of code that you put on your company's website. It'll show up as like a little number behind your URL or behind your domain. And that LinkedIn Insight tag will allow you to get in-depth reporting on behaviors outside of me being on LinkedIn. It also allows you to retarget people who have visited your website and then left. You can then reach out to them on LinkedIn. It allows you to say that you are a cleaning service. I work with a few different cleaning services who do like office cleaning, disinfecting, that sort of stuff. If you're someone who does that, you're probably dealing with the operations manager at a business. You can target the operations manager directly on LinkedIn using the Insight tag. So lots of different things that you can do to reach your buying persona or your buying audience on LinkedIn. Okay. So that's a lot of information. I understand that. I hope you got some good notes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Simo or myself. And then I think we're going to open it up to questions. So I'm also happy to field questions now. But thank you very much for listening to, this is a great outlet for me to just dump information on people, but also I'm happy to be a part of the chamber, and I'm here to help in any way that I can. So with that, I'll turn it over to Court or Simo, if you want to say something.
Laura, there's a question. If we could answer it, if we could, the question says, can we post where viewers can find Vivial as well as the slide deck?
What was the question? I'm not seeing it.
It is on the chat box, right, Peter? Can we post where viewers can find Vivial as well as the slide deck?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can certainly post that. If it, yeah, it was a question from Peter. Yes, I can post on that. I'll give my direct link so you can reach out to me. I will also share Vivial's website if you want to kind of just check out like our full array of services. One of the things, as I had kind of mentioned earlier, is that, and I'll kind of take this off share now, but one of the things that I had mentioned earlier is that we do everything in-house. So everything is under one roof. I know that's a lot to juggle for a local business. That was a real example I gave with the person I met with on Monday. She had literally an Excel spreadsheet of like, here's the 9 different people I work with. I can do auto pay with this one. I have to do this one directly. And it was just a lot to juggle. So we can handle all that stuff for you. And of course, I'm here to give advice and tips too. Happy to help. Any other questions or anything that I can help with?
I just wanted to chime in for a second here. First of all, thank you very much. Great suggestions. I just want to say to our listeners, you know, as Laura said, you need to be online. I think that's one of the most important messages that we can give, especially in today's COVID-infested times that we live in. And of course, being the selfless promoter that I am, what better place to start than the Mountain View Marketplace? If you aren't listed yet on the marketplace, please sign up. It's another place for you to be seen and for people to go to. And of course, we're promoting the hell out of it. And if you are listed, please use Laura's tips to promote your products. Pictures and videos are all possible on the marketplace. And in fact, a number of people have signed up for the marketplace, but then haven't really promoted either their business or their products. Please do both. Again, it's all about exposure.
Awesome. That's a great tip. And I'll actually, I'll post for the where viewers can find Vivial. I just posted our website in the chat, and I'll send this deck out. So if you weren't taking notes very quickly on all that stuff, you can take a look at that. And of course, feel free to reach out to me or Simo.
Yes, please do. We're local and we're very much excited and happy to help anybody get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. I actually do have a quick question. What are your thoughts on Twitter? Is it for every business? Is it more for engagement? Where does that go on the realm?
That is a great question. So my thoughts on Twitter, I think that the more places you can be online, the better. Think about, okay, so here's my metaphor for this. If you're walking down a street and there's like, say it's lined with trees or lined with poles or whatever it's lined with, you're walking down the street. If I hung just a flyer on maybe every 10 trees, you'd be like, oh, okay. Then you walk for a while, oh, okay. If you have a flyer on every single tree, it's going to be hard to dismiss what's going on. It's going to be hard to overlook the different flyers or the same flyer that's on all of those. So when it comes to social or any platform online, I say yes, be on all of them, because the more places you can be, the better. When it comes to Twitter, the feed is faster. And I think Twitter gives me a little anxiety because there's a lot going on there. When we manage social media for a business, we're posting to there like between 4 and 8 times a week. So it's pretty consistent. So 4 to 8 times a week, you guys, if you're going to do it yourself, is what you should do on Twitter. I do think it's important to be there. Plus, keep in mind, any high traffic social page like that with the viewers on there, it's going to help boost your SEO. So that's getting a little into the digital marketing weeds, but search engine optimization is the more places you're at, the better. The more content out there, the better. There's that like old adage, it's like no publicity is bad publicity. That's kind of the thing with social media. Just be on all the platforms. If you can post consistently, great. But Twitter has a lot of followers, has a lot of viewers. I think it's very important for local businesses to be there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so I guess this brings up, what about Nextdoor? I think this is a pretty new platform for people to use, and businesses are on there.
Mm-hmm.
What about Nextdoor? Same kind of idea?
Same kind of idea. I think Nextdoor is really helpful, especially it's more local, right? So it's definitely that more local feel to it. So when we think of like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's like, I'm too small to be on those. Well, no, you're not, because there's geo-targeting. It'll show exactly where you're located. But Nextdoor, I say the same thing. If you have the time and the resources, to put content or to add to that, Nextdoor, I think, is a great place for local businesses to be. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great questions. One of the cool things, and I'll say this, all of these social platforms have really user-friendly tools. It's really when it gets to the point where you're just like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to run a business. It's hard for me to then also run all my marketing. That's when you would call somebody like us, right? But if you do have someone in-house that can do this stuff, all of these different platforms have user-friendly tools that you can use to set up a post schedule. So it can have a calendar of posts. You can usually preset posts to go out. So if you're a night owl and you're like, okay, I have an hour, it's midnight, and I'm just going to come up with some content, you can do that and schedule it to go out during normal hours. So you don't look like, you're just posting all during the night. So you can do that very easily. And then one of the things that I really like specifically about Twitter, for example, because Twitter seems just kind of like this huge thing that's hard for a local business to get involved in, there's actually ways for you to hone in on certain buying personas. So somebody who seems like they might be a purchaser of your product. I'll give you a real example of a client of mine. It is a personal injury attorney, and someone posted on Twitter, I'm okay, but my truck isn't. And it was like a picture of their truck got totaled. They were in a car accident. So what we did was we actually reached out on behalf of the attorney, but you can do this yourself using Twitter's tools. You can find someone who posts certain words or phrases and say, I'm really sorry that happened. I'm glad you're okay. If you find you need some assistance, reach out to me for a free consultation. And you can directly engage with people on Twitter just by setting up some very simple parameters for somebody who might need your product or your service.
Wow, that's interesting. I feel like I have been the receiving end of sometimes when I tweet some things. So it's good to know. It's a great way to have the company really connect with you.
Totally. And it feels totally authentic. You probably didn't even, realize it's just a parameter setup. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a great example. Just to add on, like as a local business owner too, sometimes it tends to be very overwhelming being on all these platforms, and to trust me, it's not. It's very much worth it. It pays off in the long run, and especially under these circumstances, it's very important to just show your name, show your presence in every platform you can. And if you can't individually, then that's when we come in handy and try to give you the best tools and help we can.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, I want to ask kind of one wrap-up question here. I mean, one of the things that I hear so much from businesses is, I just don't have the time or energy to be on everything, everywhere, and so on. That sounds great, but I've only got, negative time to do things. So if I had to choose, and I said, you know what, I will do it, and I'll do it right, but I'll only be on 3 platforms. Besides the Mountain View Marketplace, which 2 would you recommend?
Okay, so I would say if you're a B2B, you should be on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you are a B2C, Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is just like a little extra fluff. I don't consider Google My Business a platform because you don't need to regularly post to it. You just need to kind of set up your profile like one time and then update it as you can. But I would say B2C, Facebook, Instagram, B2B, Facebook, LinkedIn. Oh, and somebody asked, do you see any disadvantages to being on a platform if you are not posting relevant content frequently? Michelle, that's a great question. My mother falls into this category. She's like, Laura, you'd be so proud. I set up a Facebook business page. I'm like, all right, Mom, cool. Next thing I know, I'm getting calls from her like, can you post something on there? Because it's been like months since I posted something. And it's like, okay. If it's going to be months since you've posted, it's not going to be useful. It's probably just going to be a stressor to you. So I think that I think it's good to have a Facebook business page because it essentially serves as a profile that has your business name, your contact information, and what you do. So set up the profile. I don't want to say it's a disadvantage. It's not going to hurt your online presence to not post regularly. You're just not going to be getting a benefit from it. So I'll say that, but I think that you should at least set up the business profile, which would be that Facebook business page to get that information out there, and then try and put in your Outlook like a posting schedule. For any of you, my mom does like bookkeeping and accounting. She gets the Kiplinger report, which is bi-weekly, I believe she gets it. That's content that you can post. So you probably think of whatever you do. If you're a member of an organization, if you get a newsletter, anything like that, you can use that stuff as content. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel on posting content. You can share some of that stuff and then just make sure you say useful information from this and post that content if that helps. Hope that answered your question.
All right.
You're welcome.
Well, Laura, as an old marketing guy, I'm sure we could be going at this for hours. You're a font of information. Thank you so much. I know that our businesses appreciate it. I'm sure they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of this, but again, what I would love our viewers to take away from this is that the tools are there, the advice is there, and as much as you can do or as little as you can do something. And reach out to the experts like Laura and Seema. If you need some assistance with this, we want you to be seen. We want you to get the attention. We want you to get the businesses. So thank you both very much. Thank you, Courtney, for managing the process. And we will return on January 13th with representatives from the city who will provide updates and guidelines to help kick off the year. And join us at 4 p.m. today for the Chamber's annual celebration. Yay. Thank you again.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you again, and we remind you to stay safe and follow all health guidelines this holiday season, and we wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Right. Happy holidays.
Bye.